Hi, this is George Prochaska with the Industrial Products and Services category. Welcome to George's Category Chat. We're in the month of November, the year 2017, and we're lucky enough to have Margot Levin, the category's project manager, on with us today. Margot, could you introduce yourself for us?
Hi, George. I'm glad to be with you all today. I'm the project manager for the industrial products category, which means I work closely with George and his team. I work with the PMO and with OMB, supporting category management for this category. We've had a lot of good progress and activity over the past year. We have a bit over $11 billion in the category, and of that, over $5 billion is currently in what we call spend under management, which means using government-wide vehicles.
Wow.
As part of that achievement, we have had 2 of our contract vehicles designated best in class, which means that they've achieved the sort of government good housekeeping seal of approval on being among the best contract vehicles available government-wide.
Cool.
We've also had another group of our contracts designated as part of the spend under management, not exactly best in class, but they are still available government-wide and are on the road to greater utilization.
Great. And I understand in the category, Margot, y'all did the category, you kind of were the project manager for this thing called Government to Government Requisition Channel. Can you tell us a little bit about that pilot and how that worked out?
Sure.
Okay.
So the government to government requisition channel is one of several avenues that government customers can use to access our contract vehicles. It requires having access to certain systems that allow for direct access to the contract. It's based around NSNs, which are national stock numbers, and primarily defense-related organizations use the channel, but it is available government-wide. Cool.
Now I've got just one human interest story question for you, Margot, and then I'll ask you about where the category is headed next. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about what a week in the life of a category management project manager is like. So what are some of the things you do?
Okay, that's a good question, George. The week typically starts off with a meeting among the project managers from all the different categories, representatives from the PMO, including their functional groups such as the data team, the best-in-class team, the communications team, and a representative of OMB. We sort of discuss accomplishments to date, where the categories are headed, anything that would be useful to know across categories, and that kind of sets the tone for monitoring the planned work. The week then involves, it depends where we are in the month. There's a lot of reporting that is required of the PMO in terms of individual accomplishments, category accomplishments, how we are tracking to plan, and so on. There are every other week, as you know, George, we have a broad industrial products category team call, mm-hmm. where we bring together our whole category team to discuss whatever is the hot topic of the week, mm-hmm. And to encourage participation. I think going forward, we're going to use that as a venue to assign roles and ask for volunteers to work on specific aspects of initiatives going forward. The team leadership meets weekly, again, to see where we are, how things are going, share information across the different elements of the team leadership. And then just continue to monitor things like the data, going through the data that's available. We have this new D2D, or I guess I should say new and improved D2D tool that is used to give the teams more direct access to the data. so I spend a bit of time working on that, just going through looking for opportunities for contract consolidation, any improvement opportunities that we can begin to zero in on from a high level by looking at the data.
Wow, you've got a really busy week. And just, I might add a couple things about Margot, because I think people are always interested in other people. Margot's a Princeton grad. She's worked for a consulting firm for quite a bit, and she's actually lives in New York and works remotely with the team. And sometimes she's down in Florida, and sometimes she's in D.C. So that's kind of cool. So Margot, as we close out today's podcast, what do you see happening for the team in the next 90 days?
Sure. Well, the next 90 days are actually going to be quite busy. In addition to sort of calendar year end and the end of quarter one, we are in the process of putting together the fiscal year 18 plan for what the next round of category initiatives are going to be. As part of that, we've been asked to focus in on kind of 5 focus areas, and they pretty much track with some of the topics we've already touched on in this chat. First is reducing unmanaged spend, so spend that is outside of a government-wide managed contract, and increasing the use of best-in-class contracts, since they do have that seal of approval. The second is reducing the number of duplicate contracts or duplicate contracts that will allow for obviously increase in spend under management ideally, and looking at communication efforts and other strategies that can help us both identify potential areas of contract duplication and figure out plans for how to address them. Third is implementation of demand management strategies. So that involves ensuring that customers are buying what they're buying more effectively and smarter, basically. So it involves things like looking for opportunities for greater access to volume discounts, perhaps.
Okay.
Another important component, and something that is closely related to the best-in-class process, is sharing transactional data. So this is, I think, some of our listeners may have heard of the TDR pilot.
Transactional data reporting?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's related to that, and the reporting of transactional data is one of the key components of that best-in-class scorecard.
Right.
So it allows just sort of open sharing of data, so that a customer out there in a government agency will have a resource to use to look at prices for similar goods and services that they're interested in procuring. And finally, initiatives around maximizing small business participation, because small business remains a vital interest of the government, and it's encouraging small business participation is a key component of the overall category management effort.
Wow, you got a lot going on, Margot. So today we're going to close out and say thanks to Margot Levin, Project Manager in the Industrial Products and Services category. Thanks a million, Margot. We hope to hear more from you in future episodes.
Great. Thank you, George.
Bye.
Bye-bye.